Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the text preprocessing. So text preprocessing is a very critical step in the NLP. So why it's so important is because we get a lot of text which has a lot of noise and a lot of irrelevant words which do not make any sense, right? So hence this is a critical step for you to develop any end application, right? So if you don't do this text preprocessing in the first go, right, it makes a lot of noise in the later application, and also the data size that it becomes, also the data size requirement in terms of the RAMs or the processing power, also it is really very huge requirement it will come, right? So hence, to reduce that all this complexity, and then also to clean some of the noisy text, so we introduce text pre-processing. So that is a mandatory step for any text cleaning or text application that you develop, right? So what are the text pre-processing techniques basically that we handle, right? So the first is we try to remove the punctuations. Okay, whenever there is a punctuation that we have in the text, right? So we ideally clean them. So why it's so important when you see remove punctuations, right? So because sometimes when you develop the end applications like summarization or the translation, right? So sometimes the exclamation marks or the @ symbols or the any dollar symbols, right? So these kind of punctuation does not make any meaning in terms of the overall text, right? So hence we need to clean before you process them. So like if you take some examples, right? I love to read right, 5 books. Okay, and then I put some exclamation mark here. So I need to clean this. So it doesn't make any sense, right? So whether it is exclamation mark or whether it does not have an exclamation mark. So if you clean them, so you get only this highlighted text that you see here, right? So that's very important, right? And also the second pre-processing technique is when removing the numbers. So removing the numbers means, like whenever you see, let's say the same example that if I apply the I love to read 5 books, right? So these 5 books sometimes it may not be required to handle the numbers, right? So like this, like if you take this example, if I remove the numbers, the I love to read books is the answer that I get. That's the simplest way to handle the removing the numbers. And one more example, if I give you, I live in 142 street in London, right? So something like that. So now if you clean them, I live in street in London. I live in street in London. So this is what you get. And the third is removing the HTML tags. So removing the HTML tags. So when I say removing the HTML tags, let's say you get a lot of hyperlinks in the text. So like example, if I see this is bold, and text, something like this. I have the text. So now if I clean this, then I have this is bold text. This is bold text. That's a very important. Then we have fourth step is the fourth one. So the fourth is basically stop words removal, we call. So what what is the stop words? What are the stop words basically? So stop words are the words which do not make any meaning in the text. So those are common words basically, which are common words and which are irrelevant and which do not have a lot of value in the text. So those are the stop words. So examples of the stop words are the, an, a, is, for, something like this. There are lot of examples like this. So let's say I am having example, the cat is sitting on the mat. So if I process them, cat sitting mat. So you see, the is on the, all these have removed, which are irrelevant in the context. So hence we can remove them. So that is what is removing the stop words. Then we have but how do we identify these stop words? Like, we have a predefined stop words in the libraries. So common libraries to handle any text processing is, one famous library is NLTK. Natural Language Toolkit is the library that we usually use in the industry. And also we have a library called spaCy. This is little advanced when you compare to the NLTK, but everything has its own advantages and disadvantages. But these two are the most commonly used in the industry for handling the text preprocessing. So then the fifth one, what is the fifth one? Fifth one is handling special cases. Special cases, which means there are examples like, let's say, the do, let's say instead of do, don't, and do not, both mean the same, right? And similarly, doctor, some people write doctor, and doctor, some people write D-O-C-T-O-R. And similarly, people may write professor, P-R-O-F, and people may write full letters as well, professor. So, which do not mean, both means the same, either doctor or DR, ideally in some context, right? So, how do we handle these special cases and how do we identify? So, identification is like, you have to understand the text. So you read through some samples, then understand what kind of words are there, and then you can define your own dictionary. That is one common way. There is other way is to identify from a domain itself, from a domain people, which they has, like, let's say this is a medical domain, let's say DR, some people write doctor, and if it is a if it is a teaching field, professor, PROF are the common fields. So that's the understanding that you need to gain from domain people. So there are a lot of like this. We will discuss in the next subsequent lectures. The next important topic is stemming and lemmatization. So stemming and lemmatization is a kind of normalization which happens over this text, and we need to take it to our root forms basically to handle in a better way. So we will talk in the next video. Thank you so much.